This is Bill Carroll, and this will be the third installment of our How to Build a Tiny House cheap and by yourself. So there's one part I've never shown you in the video, so thought I'd show you the first thing before I get started. I'm going to try to turn this camera around while it's going. Yeah, it won't do that. Okay, but what I want to show you is that you need to have a way to tarp your building whenever you're not working on it. So this is what I came up with. Basically, you can see that I have a 12-foot by 18-foot tarp, and then these things, these little plastic things right here. Sometimes you may have seen these in greenhouses. It's got little closed cells, and they're about 9 feet long. Most of them are 4 feet wide, and those came out of a dumpster in Oklahoma City. Yeah, I truly embarrassed my wife and son digging these out, but when all this is said and done, I'm going to use those for a greenhouse, a little small portable greenhouse. So anyway, just wanted to show you that you have to be able to battle the elements. And here, winter's getting ready to come, and it doesn't come here nearly as bad as it did in Colorado, but you still have to be able to protect, because if you have insulation in open cells like I do, you don't want any kind of moisture at all. And every morning we get heavy dew. You can see even right here, all this could, get inside your floor, and then once you put the subfloor down, it's there forever. I mean, it will eventually evaporate, but you don't want to trap any water in there, so protect your floor. Okay, hi, this is Bill, and we're at the point now where all the rest of the insulation is going to go down, but I wanted to film a little bit of the remaining electrical that I've done and the plumbing that we did on Monday. So I want to film this not just for you and for posterity, but also for in case an inspector wants to see what we did down below. So the video may be a little bit detailed, but I just want to be able to show every single thing we've done. So I'm going to take the camera and switch it back to the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to just videotape some of the electrical, a little bit in the shade, but you can kind of see what we did. And I pointed some of this out before. We have a separate run for the fridge, separate for the loft area, and then for the kitchen, all separate, and one for the microwave. So here's the electrical, and all these are running across. This area is up off as far as we can get it, but this is the fender well there. Okay, let me get up on the floor, and you can see now how the electrical runs. Basically, it goes through here, and the green cord is the DC. All this runs over. There's a little bit of insulation. You never want to put more than, well, I think they say 5 cords through one hole. I only use 2. So here's where they come through. See the cord down on the bottom? That's what goes toward the front of the house. All these come over here. This is where the breaker box is going to be. And all these are labeled. The white ones are lights, and then there's 4 circuits, and then there's the DC circuits. 1 circuit for the DC for the kitchen, which goes, we just showed you. 1 is here for the bathroom. So here in the bathroom you have a light circuit, you have your DC circuit, and you have your outlet circuit, all separate. You never want to run in a bathroom especially, run them separately, but I mean run them together, the lights and the outlets. You have to have one single outlet with a GFI breaker on it, and that's basically how it looks. You can see we've started the insulation. Some of the bays like this are done. This is one that we stopped the other day. You can see just a little bit of the foil back insulation here. This is where our last video stopped. I was gluing that on, and now we'll put the foil back in here and fill this cavity. Then today we're going to go ahead and fill all this. This is the plumbing we did. It's plumbed nearly just like an RV. So on the outside edge, but not through the rim, you have your waste and your cold water supply. The waste comes, it tees off here. The first tee goes over to the bathtub, which you can see under there, and comes up with a P-trap below. Then you got your toilet flange here. Toilet flange is usually loose, so once you get the floor in, you can cut it to the height that you need. And here's your sink drain with your hot water supply and your cold water. For the toilet, you just have the cold. For the bathtub, you have cold and hot. Okay, then you have a drain running through the kitchen floor and coming up here. These two will come up inside the cabinet. That's why they're so far away from the outside wall, because they'll be inside the cabinet. You have cold water and hot water. And then these two running over here in this corner, and then coming up here, this is hot water. So basically right in this corner is where I plan to put the hot water heater. It'll be at the end of the cabinet, but built into its own cabinet. And then right here will be the stove. Okay, and that's it until we start putting more insulation. Okay, here we are, and we're at the point now where we're starting to lay our very first piece of subfloor. Now, we've done a lot of extra blocking, and I've actually put 2 coats of paint on this. Half inch is all it is, half-inch OSB plywood to protect it. And so now we've done the insulation, and at least in this first bay. I want to go ahead and do this, and I wanted to show you the few extra steps that I took to make sure that the floor stays warm. And part of it is just getting insulation right on the edges. And it's kind of dark here, so not sure if you can see, but I'll put the camera down here so you can see that right on these outside edges, I used insulation and kind of packed up against here, not too tight. You want to keep insulation loose. And then we're going to go under here. The reason this is propped up like this is because I have to run the electrical through the holes first. Then I'll put my glue here, then let that down on top of the electrical. So getting ready to put the glue down, we're using a really good construction grade subfloor adhesive. It doesn't have to be Liquid Nails. There are companies that make a similar product. Liquid Nails is great though. The nails we're going to use to nail the plywood is it's a number 8 penny nail. It's galvanized, and has what they call a ring shank. So if you look really close, you can see the ridges on the nail itself. That keeps the plywood from coming back up, and also the nails will actually squeak as they go up and down inside the floor joist. So this prevents that from happening. So we're about to glue it and nail down our first piece. And part of the reason why I'm doing this one is I need to finish the installation in these bays. As you can see, they're not full yet. And it makes it easier for me if I have a place to stand. So I thought, why not just go ahead and run them as I go. So here we go with the very first sheet, and I'll be glad to get this floor done. Okay, real quickly, I just want to show you. I've already glued down these sheets. Everything's done here. You can see where the wire is sticking up here. Labeled, taped, rolled up kind of out of the way. One of the keys though, just to remember, is when you're running your cords up, or your wires up for your wall, just remember that your wall is either 5.5 inches thick or 3.5 inches thick. So if this board is 1 7/8 inches, you want that wire to be fairly close there, because the wall itself is only 3.5 inches thick. So you want that wire to come up inside the wall. So if we go 2 1/4, that puts it right here on the edge, of the LVL, but it puts it pretty far inside the 3.5 inch wall we're going to build. So you just want to make sure that you leave yourself room here. So we measured 2 1/4 inches, and we laid these all out and just marked them about 1 1/4 inches apart, maybe 1.5 inches, and then we'll drill all these and pull the wires through. This part takes a little longer, because you have quite a few wires to pull through. So good Lord's willing, we'll finish this for the end of the day, but I don't know, the sun's getting low over there. Well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and so for me to finish this thing I had to rig up lights, and so I'll show you. This is what I got going on. You can see I'm finishing up there, and probably gonna not get this done tonight, but I'll finish this one bay right here and wrap it up. But yeah, this is when you have very little time to work, this is what you got to do, and that's my little helper there. Okay, it's Sunday afternoon, and don't like working on Sundays, but I wanted to show you what I was doing here before I covered it up. This is the kitchen area with plumbing, and one of the places where you can get free frozen pipes is right up against the outside wall. So this plumbing here is out a little bit, but you can see what I did was I put this bubble wrap all the way around, sealed this whole compartment, which this is the kitchen, and come back over here, I can show you that in this bathroom area, same thing. Every place where the pipes are even remotely close to the floor or the side, I put this bubble wrap. On the outside rim joist as well, glued it with contact cement, and then even here where this main water line crosses over the one of the step backs, I wrap that. So this will be the last time we see the inside of the floor. Tonight it gets insulated and the floor done. All this is all glued and nailed down now, and this is the last part. So here we go.